inside of me. May you delight in the...
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited about another episode here. I really enjoyed the encouragement from my last video. If you haven't watched it, please go watch the introduction of my YouTube channel. But today, or this month, I have a very special guest here. As most of you can already see or tell, this is my lovely husband. And the reason why I brought Wale on here is because on this particular topic today, which is about shame and weakness, Wale was a source of encouragement to me and made me reflect on some things in particular areas. So I thought it would be interesting for us to come and share together, and just so that we can be sincere and, you know, hopefully we can encourage you, you know, on the topic that we're sharing today. So I'm just going to give you a bit, Wale, to just do a little bit of introduction. I don't know, do you have anything to say?
Okay, I mean, I'm Wale, I'm Sharon's husband. What do I say, really? I mean,
yeah, like what's your journey like with God, or, you know?
Yeah, I mean, God has been incredible in my life. I mean, I became a Christian and way back in like 2003, I think, before I started university, and you know, God has really seen me through. You know, I've kind of gone from strength to strength with God. Throughout the majority of my life that I've known Him, He's been so faithful. You know, He found me an amazing wife, so I can't complain about that. But no, I mean, God has been amazing, really, and He's really my source of strength in all the challenges of my life. I mean, of course, we've both gone through our challenges,
yes, definitely.
And God's been faithful in all of that. So
okay. So what about shame and weaknesses? So I've decided to share two instances, you know, things that have happened in my own life. I mean, there are many instances that projects how one can feel weak or ashamed. And the first one, you know, is related to waiting. So of course, I'm still waiting to have children at this time in my life. We're still waiting. I said, like as if it's just me. We're still waiting to have children. And some days, of course, you feel very strong in the Lord. Other days you might feel down because it's something that you desire. But thank God, God has been strengthening us. However, there might be some things that people say or things that people do that can make you feel weak or feel ashamed. Sometimes they're well-meaning, other times they're just careless, or depending on what it is. Or somebody could be celebrating something in that specific area, so it might be like a shower or, you know, all of that stuff, that then, you know, they do something, or the details of their celebration can make you feel a bit weird. But anyway, the first example or the first instance was, I used to work somewhere before, and my colleague, I would say we're quite good colleagues, and sometimes we mess around and we joke, and depending on what time of the day is. So there was, I think our boss had his second child, and we're just in the team asking, oh wow, you're good, you're fast, you already have your second child, how are you doing? I was just like being free. And then this colleague of mine then goes something like, oh, you shouldn't be asking him how, you should go and take notes or something like that, or take lessons. It was like a dig at me, and sometimes those kind of jokes could be funny, but on this particular occasion I was like, okay, I need to go and take lessons. So it kind of just exposed an area of like weakness of mine. You know, that's one instance, and I'm sure many people can relate to that, you know, you need in your life. The second instance is to do with a celebration. So someone very dear to me was celebrating something. I don't want to go into much details about it because it's not about exposing the other person or trying to call anybody out. So I'm just trying to be a little bit tactful. Is that the word? Tactful about how I express this. But the detail of their celebration meant that they had to split, or how they wanted to have that celebration was that they had to split people into groups, and splitting into groups kind of just exposed my own, you know, need, or should I say, what I call it, vulnerability, or what I say, of my life, that made me feel a bit weird, out of place, and I thought, oh, so I can't be part of this. So that for me, I remember that Saturday morning just bawling my eyes out. I was so hurt by that particular action. I look back now, I know that it wasn't intentional. Of course, the person was celebrating, but it really hurt me a lot. And I remember just sitting down there in the room that Saturday morning, just crying, and I was really, really down. And then as Wale was trying to encourage me, thankfully on that day, he then goes on to say, so what is wrong in people seeing you weak? What is wrong in having that weakness? What is wrong with that? And I think that was a very serious question for me, because it's true. What is wrong in somebody actually seeing that you're trusting God for a baby or a husband, or you don't have a job? Why are we so insecure? Why are those things? Why do they really bother us? And I came to realize that it's an identity issue. It's an insecurity issue. It might be a cultural thing or expectation of people around. So I wanted to just pass on to Wale, because I live with Wale. Of course, I live with Wale, we are married. But Wale has a different approach to how he deals with things. I've learned over time with him the way he celebrates with others effortlessly. And I always ask him, I'm like, how are you able to? I mean, sometimes I celebrate, I'm not a bad person, so I'm always going around squeezing my face. But Wale just has a sense of, understanding towards others. Like, he'll be so happy for you in all circumstances, no matter what. And for me, that's inspiring. And I thought, it would be good to hear from you what you think about that area. Why do you think that people are so insecure? What is it about weakness and shame in the context of basically what I've just said? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I guess it's something that we've talked about obviously in the past, and I think sometimes culture definitely has a lot to do with it, because I think you are in many ways a product of your upbringing, a product of kind of the culture that you've been bred into, that has kind of played a part in many ways played a part of how you've been formed and the mindset you have towards certain things, your attitudes towards certain things. And I think sometimes you might feel vulnerable, or you might feel insecure in certain areas, not because there's any real logical reason to be insecure about those things. It's just because of the cultural pressure, I would say, that is on a person, because maybe you're lacking something in one area of your life. For example, for us, we don't have children yet, and in the Western culture, I mean, I grew up in very much in this Western culture, and for me, us not having children is not really a big deal, because there are plenty of couples that that don't even want to have children, and that's not a thing. And so it's not as if, like, after you've been married a certain number of years, people in the Western culture are looking at your life and thinking, your marriage isn't fruitful because you don't have children yet. Because they recognise and respect that some people, that's just not what they desire. Some people wait till their mid-30s before they start trying, because that's when they decide that they want to have children. Whereas in African culture it's very different. I think African culture, marriage is for children. That's the primary.
It's a sign of your fruitfulness. Like, so
you have that, they measure the success of a marriage by the children in many respects. So it's like when you're in that kind of culture, when you don't have children yet and you're 7 years into your marriage, and all of a sudden it's a huge deal. Your parents are calling you every day trying to pray for you. It's all these things, and it's like everybody does it because they mean well. But at the end of the day, it's like when all of this external pressure is trying to, in many respects, convince you that the things that you don't have, are what defines you, then whether knowingly or unknowingly, you're gonna internalize that. You're gonna imbibe some of that, and then that's gonna form part and parcel of how you your identity for yourself as well. People will identify you by your problems. There's no that shit on that, the one that doesn't have children yet. Do you know what I mean? But the problem arises when you let that seep into yourself, and you start to identify yourself by those problems, and then it's like everything, every external stimuli. Anytime there's a your friend is celebrating something, or they're having a friend that the younger girls in your church are getting pregnant and having babies.
Like, oh my
it's
God.
like you start to catch those feelings because oh my God, I don't have children yet, but it's like. But so what? Do you know what I mean? God, it's just not our time. God hasn't determined that we would have our children by now, and that's not a big deal. At the end of the day, we're not even, you just past 30. It's not that old. Do you know what I mean?
I think it's just the external influence, and that's the thing I was trying to address, and that's why. I mean, because over time in my own journey as well, sometimes I spent time just saying, oh, is this person, why is this person saying this? But I started to learn that because really you can't control the other person's view and thoughts about you, and that's what I've learned in my own journey, that you can have in your mind that be saying, oh, people should be careful around you, working on eggshells. By the end of the day, some people are not close to you. You're going to meet different people from every walks of life. So you need to deal with your own internal mind
That's right.
about how you approach things. And so it's about you asking yourself, what do I really identify with? Is this thing my identity? Even sometimes that thing can be an idol in our life, that it takes completely over our lives, that thing that we desire. And because we're so short-sighted, we don't really embrace that. You know what, actually, it's fine. I'm waiting on God to do these things for me. So shame is not of God. That's the point we're trying to say today. Weaknesses. This weakness, there's nothing wrong if you don't have. There's nothing, you know, I mean, I agreed with you because I had a colleague of mine too in my work that she said she doesn't want to have children. I think that was the first time I was like, oh wow, some people don't even want this.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it is that you're trusting God for, but the encouragement that I want to leave us with today, Psalm 34 verse 5 says that those who look to him are radiant. Their faces are never covered with shame. So if we're looking to Christ, then there's no reason to be ashamed. You know, Christ is our identity, well, for us that are Christians. And if you're not a Christian, this is why you need God. This is why you need Christ in your life. Because Christ is the one that, come rain, come sunshine, you can have that hope in him. And even when people throw digs at you, or they say stuff, or they try to call you out by that difficulty, or this thing that looks like a reproach, you can always look to Christ, and then immediately he covers you. The Bible says that Adam, you know, and Eve were in the garden, and they knew they were naked, and they knew no shame. So shame is not of God, it's not what he desires. And another verse that I saw that I wanted to share to leave us with today as well is Psalm 93. And I'll just read verse 4 to 5. It says, the Lord on high is mightier than the noise of many waters. I like this because noise of many waters could mean any noise that is going on around. It's like noise. It says, than the mighty waves of the sea. Your testimonies are very sure. Holiness adorns your house, O Lord, forever. So what is the noise that you're hearing around you? What are those things that people are calling you out by that's making you feel ashamed, making you feel insecure? You can't put your head up high. The news that we have for you today is that it's not of God. It is not. And that's why you need to guard your heart. So I just wanted you to share just a few things to encourage anybody that's dealing with shame or feeling vulnerable. How can they deal with it before we wrap up?
I mean, if anything, I would just say similar to what I said to Shem when we were struggling with similar things back in the day, is that I think what it comes down to ultimately is where is that shame coming from? You know, why do you feel that thing that you're lacking in your life is a weakness? And I think sometimes we feel ashamed because we're comparing ourselves with other people. But I think that, you know, the Bible often, you know, says that you know, that they that compare themselves with themselves are not wise, and that's the truth of God's word. You know, we're not supposed to really compare ourselves with other people, because whilst, you know, the conventional wisdom is that, you know, people get married and then they have children, or people, you know, get married full stop. You know, it doesn't happen the same for everyone. You know, everyone's on a different journey, and you know, you getting married in your late 30s and someone else getting married in their early 20s, you know, God has a reason for both of those cases. You know, it may have been that if you got married too early, the person you got married to, because at that time you were not matured enough to be a good judge of character, and thereby, you know, therefore you could have ended up choosing somebody that wasn't right for you and messed up your life. And God wanted to protect you from that. You know, there are many, many reasons that we ourselves cannot fathom, but God knows all. You know, he knows the end from the beginning, and therefore it's all about trusting him. It's all about being able to understand that he knows everything, that your life is different, the walk that you know, the walk of your life is different to everyone else's. And again, it's also a bit about just being content in God. You know, contentment is so important. You know, godliness and contentment is great gain.
Being grateful for what you have now.
Exactly, because I think sometimes we can become obsessed by the things we don't have because of discontentment, because, you know, of comparisons and all these other things that we've mentioned. And I think that, you know, we need to come to a place where we understand who God is, we understand the fact that he's our source, and that we rely on him for everything. And there's nothing that we have in our lives that he's given us that we're entitled to. Nothing we deserve.
I know it's harsh, but
it's a harsh teaching, but that's how for me, that's how I live my life. There's nothing that I have that is good that I deserve, because I deserve nothing, you know.
And if you live like that, your expectations will not, you won't go crazy.
Then if you live like that, you'll be grateful for everything.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, even the small things you have, even the little you have, you'll be grateful for it, because you know that, look, I don't deserve anything, you know, but God has given me everything.
Yes, praise God. Yes, so, you know, whatever weaknesses is, and I think just to wrap up as well, I would say that there's nothing wrong in you feeling weak that way towards others. It's fine. You're a human being. You're not God. You don't have control over the circumstances. So I hope that anyone watching this will be encouraged. We've shared openly. God loves you, and God has a great plan for your life. Try and find things in your life right now that you can throw yourself to. I find a lot of joy from just doing things like this, blessing people's lives, and that's how I give, and that I feel the blessing in my life. So find something. Of course, don't push yourself into anything, but be encouraged. God loves you. Till next time, stay blessed. Of course, there's also another magical, amazing topic next month. God bless you. Take care. Bye.
'Cause all I want is for you to be glorified, for you to be lifted high. All I want is for